You're tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready. She's about to bring you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Hey, hotties, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday. I am in the studio today with my sister girls. We are going to start the wind down. That's our new conversation we're going to be having. Just me and some girlfriends from around the neighborhood talking about what's going on in society, what's trending, whatever it is we come up with. It's going to be our sister girl moment. So we got our wine, we got our popcorn, because I'm real Olivia Pope. I'm Olivia Pope-ish, and so I wanted to get this started. So we want to talk about sisterhood, and I was thinking that having that conversation with these ladies because we all saw Black Panther, and I was like, I heard so many conversations about it just behind, like, you know, the power of the tribe and all this other stuff, but I said nobody talked about the sisterhood in the movie. And so I have Zoe Brown here and Sharone Thomas, and we are going to get in this conversation. First, ladies, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Awesome. My name is Zoe. I am a blogger. I have my own blog on Girl Go, and I also blog for Black Girl in the CLE. Ooh. And so we go around the city and do a lot of great fun things.
And they have a lot of events, so please pay attention. Like, go like her page, go check out her social media. She's going to be dropping it for you later on because they do a lot of events in the city.
Oh, yay. Well, I'm Sharone, and I am a mommy first. I always say that. But yeah, I am the founder of the No Longer Powerless movement. And I may not be as big as Zoe, but I got a few blog posts on my website too. But I teach people how to take back their power in different areas of their life where they feel like they're powerless. So yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so somebody just said they didn't see the movie yet. Well, we are trying not to spoil it for you, but you might want to change, honey, because we're going to talk about it. So what did you guys initially think of the movie? Like, what were your thoughts behind it? Honest, straight up.
I'm not going to lie. When it first started, because I'm a person, I got to get, when the movie come on, let me get into it. And I'm like, it's kind of boring at first. But then, when I say action, baby, I'm like, oh, okay, I can get with this. And it was good. It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
It was good. So I'm a little different. I only watch foreign movies, like, for real. Like, rarely do I go to the movies. Yes.
We can go to the movies together now because people do not like subtitles.
No,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
So
y'all be all alone.
So when I go to the movies, it's a big deal because I don't go to the movies often. And so I anticipated it to be a good movie. I don't know if I thought it was boring in the beginning. I was just excited to see all that beautiful blackness.
Yeah, I think that's what hyped me up. Like in the beginning, I was like, okay, like, hurry up. Let me see everybody. Like, hurry up. Because it went, back to what happened initially. And I'm like, oh, but then.
Yeah, I was like, hurry up too. That's how I felt. Like,
I was like,
yeah, they had to set the stage.
It took too long, Zoe, to set the stage. It took forever.
It took too long for you? I don't know.
It did take a minute.
You really can't watch a foreign movie.
I can't. I won't lie to you. I can't.
I was like, I don't want to be disappointed. Like, don't make me disappointed. Right. Like, get to the action. Because everybody online was like, it's so good. It's so good. And I appreciate all of my friends not really giving any details. I was like, I'm seeing it on Sunday. Don't talk to me. And so I was like, oh, I'm so appreciative of everybody. So getting into it. The women really took over this movie. Yeah. For me personally, I was like, okay, it was about the king and it was about him transforming into the Black Panther. Okay, before we even start, let's just go ahead on and do it. All the chocolate in this movie.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So what is the name of the guy with the barking?
Baku.
Yes.
Yes.
I am a fan now.
I am too.
I'm going to go look up what he played in. If he played in anything else, I'm about to find out about it. Y'all gonna know about it too.
Yeah, that brother's fine. I saw something on Instagram. Actually, one of my girlfriends sent it to me. It had the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think of all the men and vote in order who you would. Yeah. And he was my number one.
He was your number
He was
one?
my number one.
Yeah.
And then the king, of course. But I was like, oh, who is that?
And that's the thing. I was so excited, one, to see all this chocolate, but it was like big, strong black
Yeah,
men. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
nobody that was backing down from
Right.
anything. Like, so I was like, yes. And I'm like, even Forrest Whitaker came out. I'm
He
like,
did,
okay,
didn't he?
Forrest. You got the part in there.
He showed up.
You know what surprised me? The guy from This Is Us, the brother in the beginning.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even know he was in it.
Me either.
So I was like, what part is he
I
playing?
love
Yeah.
him on that show.
So do
Don't even
I.
get started.
So do I.
I love, but he played, like, his role was like small, but it was powerful.
It was.
So I was like, whoever wrote and directed this, you guys,
Ryan
kudos
Coogler.
to you. Yes, he is.
Now he's a bad brother. And
Yes.
I'm just like, just thinking about what it took to put this together. I mean, your imagination, like,
Right.
Yes,
Well, he
but I'm
said he
like-
went to Africa.
Oh, really?
A lot of the actors and Ryan, they went to Africa a couple times just to get a feel for, like, you know, if you're gonna make a movie about Africa, you
Yeah.
gotta go there,
Right,
right?
And see, I
So-
think a lot of assumptions are made about the way
Yep.
Africa looks, and
Yep.
so we don't get to see the richness, the colorfulness, the flavor, that fire, that heat. I was just like, yes, this is what my people look like, because this is how we really act. We will dance
Right.
in a heartbeat and celebrate everything, even in the moment of
Yeah.
pain. We
Right.
will dance and celebrate. So I was so excited just to see all of that. So we got the chocolate out of the way, y'all. I'm just saying, if you have not
We had to
seen
talk
it,
about T'Challa.
and they
yeah.
probably gonna come back up, because I'm telling you,
Honey.
because you know what it is, we see so many of the same African American men in movies all the time.
And then not just that, it's not a lot of them
No.
at the same
Yeah.
time.
At the same time.
That was like overload. Like,
I agree.
Whoa, Michael B. Jordan, Chadwick, like, it was like a lot of
And then
them.
they played such powerful roles, and we don't always get to see that
no,
either.
no.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yes, I'm here for it. But okay, so the ladies, though, I have to say, like, I was like impressed. It made me feel empowered. Like, yes, I am a black queen. You better know it. And I can be a warrior. I can be a queen. I can be technological. I can be whatever it is
Yes.
I want to be. We can
Yeah.
cross borders, and we can get along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
That
good
was
point.
the biggest thing.
That was
Like,
good.
you know, even though they were all different and played different roles in the movie, they all still came back and were able to be like, okay, girl,
Yeah.
I
Right.
got you.
Yeah.
And so what were your thoughts, though, behind the different type, the representation of those type of women in the movies, like the warrior, the vigilante, the techie, the queen, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
we don't see that.
Yeah.
I just think it represented the complexity of who we are as women. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how there are so many things going on in the city, so many people doing things. You have
Yeah.
a wonderful organization. You have a wonderful organization. You blog. I mean, it just shows the complexity of black women. We're not just, you know, one dimensional.
And see, we're not just going to work. See, I think there's a common misconception that because that's all people see, is like, we just go to work, we come home, we take care of our
Right.
families. We go to work, we come home, we take care of our families. And we are doing so many things. And so I want to see us really start to promote ourselves. I feel like after this movie, if you want to be a computer tech, invent something for the future, whatever it is you want to do, let's get behind that sister and push
Yes.
her
Yeah.
forward, because we don't see a lot of it pushing each other forward. We're all
Yeah.
like behind the scenes. And you know what it is? I think it's because we're so used to doing what we got to do. Like, I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to do what I got to do. And, you know, so, but this gave me, I was like, it gave me strength to be like, okay, you know
Yeah.
what? Go after the bigger things. Ask people to come on board with you and to do things. And don't be afraid. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If you have to do it alone, do it alone. But if you can pull your sisters in, pull them in.
Yeah.
And you talked about the computer tech, and I think that was so important, because I went with my 10-year-old. I went with my daughter, and for her to see that, because you don't see in these movies a lot of black women portraying anything in technology, and so to see that and to see that you can do that, because she wasn't just behind the computer
Right.
and that she was
No.
bad
She was
with
running
it.
the whole
Yes,
kingdom,
she was
basically.
bad with it.
And she has set up the whole kingdom. And the fact that God, when he came in there, he was like, you got some little girl running your kingdom. I'm like, oh, that's one bad little
Yeah,
girl. Though.
she
She is
is.
She had
putting
those
in those arms.
those blood things.
I like the part in the car when they were in the car.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, and he came out of the building, and then the car appeared. And the car appeared, and she was in it, and I'm like, look at that.
Yeah. So I was just like, wow, like our daughters are gonna get to see some real magical stuff.
Yeah.
All because I'm so excited that this came to fruition. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like you can think it up and we can tell stories and stuff, but for them to see it visually, because I'm a visual person.
Yeah,
like I've been telling people all the time, like, you could leave me a note, but if you could like draw it or send me a video, I'm a real visual person, and so I can imagine it now in my mind, and I can see like in my mind my favorite parts of all the colors and the scenery.
Yeah.
And so if you have not seen this movie yet, please go see it.
Sorry for the spoiler.
Yeah, and we're sorry, but we're still gonna keep going because
we got to. So
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know who. I think it was the. I don't watch Walking Dead, but I know that she's the star, one of the stars in Walking Dead, the warrior one. What's her name?
I don't know her
I don't
name,
watch Walking Dead either.
but I love.
Was it the bald one?
Yes.
Okay.
So
man.
Yeah, I know her name, but
I thought about
it.
cutting off all my hair. Like I might be able to rock that. I might be a real warrior princess
When she flicked her wig off, but I heard her say on I don't know if it was Instagram, but she was talking about the fact that you see Africa not colonized,
yes,
not raped and ravished, and things taken out of Africa. This is like the idea. This is what Africa could look like,
right?
And as a result, the people act like because they haven't gone through 400 years of slavery and just all that stuff.
See,
so that was really like, wow, that's the idea. That's our society. If we didn't go through, our ancestors didn't go through
but
that.
see, I'm still a firm believer that they have that in Africa now. We just only get shown what's on National Geographic. I mean, we get to see devastation, which I mean they do have there. Like we know that, and they want us to come back and support. But I feel like there's a part that we're not being
there's
shown.
beauty there. There's a lot of beauty there.
And we don't see it, and so we only assume, like when people are like, I'm not going back to Africa. Let me see Wakanda, honey. I'll be on that plane. Like
if y'all watched African movies,
subtitles,
y'all would know. No, I'm just playing, but. Yeah, I think we do get a really biased view of what Africa, the poverty, the hunger, they
don't show us any joy.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, you can meet, like, I work in a university where there are African students that come, and they have some joy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's joy there. If you guys want to join the conversation, you can call in to 440-252-0518. That's 440-252-0518. Because we, it's Sister Girl Talk tonight. Feel like you a sister and call in. So I was like, it's not like that, but we're only shown one way. And like I said, I'm a visual person, so when I see something happen just one way, that's how I always imagine it. But this just brought it to life, and it was so colorful, and they were passionate about keeping their way of life the way their way of life is. And I think you're right, we're tainted. We're tainted because we can't see that right now because I don't know if it's because we're trained to only see it one way, and so we're just used like this is how Africa is always going to be. I'm not going to say what that man called it one of those countries, but it's not one of those countries, and so you're referring to what you've seen. And I'm like, has he even been to visit then that he knows that that's not what it looks like? So I was disturbed by him.
And I don't even think that we're trained. We just haven't been introduced to anything else. And I think that if we see, like we saw the movie, we saw Wakanda, if we see other than what we've always seen or been introduced to, then I think that our thoughts would change. Because my thoughts have changed years ago when I saw, I had a friend that actually went. And I saw things, the pictures, and when he came back and told me about his trip there. And so my thoughts have changed. But I think that it's because we were introduced to something different.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that. So get back to our warrior girl. Let me tell you, I was just like, see, I knew if a woman led the army, we would be able to war would be over. Yeah. War would be over. Because you know what I'm saying? She stood her ground.
She did.
Was like,
stood her ground.
And what did he say? He said, you gonna kill me, my love? And she said, for the love of Wakanda, I will. And what he do? What he do?
Bow down.
He bowed down, baby, and everybody else bowed down too.
I want y'all to go and pay attention because he threw his weapon down. We are such a powerful structure. Like, it's nobody else out here like us. But we don't know that. We don't feed enough of that into each other. And so when I'm talking sisterhood, I'm talking about, like, I know I walk up to women all the time like, girl, that face, that hair, you got it going on. Because you know what I'm saying? I want you to know that I'm out here rooting for you, even if we don't know each other. If I see you got something going on, I'm out here rooting for you too, because we need that. We need to feed into people like that, because there's somebody out here who is going to do something magical. Like, they're going to do something, it's going to be like, oh, girl, sister did that. And so I want to be a part of that. I want to be like, oh, I saw her in Target, and girl, she was in there buying the stuff to build this thing, to build her prototype, and now here we have the whole majestic of what she's done. But I really do think that women can stop wars. I don't care what anyone else tells me. If you get a woman that's able to negotiate. Have y'all met us? We are deeper. It was deeper than the FBI. Like, for real. Like, if something go on in your life and you need to investigate somebody, who you gonna call?
I'm gonna call my girl.
Your girl.
Yes.
And your girl, I know for me personally, I'd be like, girl, hold on. Let me pull up my laptop. And I'm like, and check in the background of whatever it is you have going on, because I want to support you in that way. So the warriors, I really believe that it's gonna be a woman to stop war. I don't care what nobody say. We birthed these nations, we control them, and we're gonna have to get them back in order. I don't know, what are you guys' feelings on that one?
I agree. I think that there's something about a woman's way of knowing that is powerful, that's special, especially the older we get. Girl, like, for real, like,
you're right, because the woman. It's that woman's intuition.
Yeah, I'm feeling myself a little bit because I'm getting older, and I know a few things. Not that I know everything. I never professed that, but you know, after you've been through some stuff, you know,
you're able to share those stories. And I think for us, because I'm getting older too. Well, you know, everybody gets older.
And not me, 25.
I think it's important though that we go back and we share those stories, not with just our daughter, whatever young lady you can grab a hold to, share those stories that they know, like, the mission is possible.
Right?
Because so often they don't think it's possible because they don't see or they haven't heard that is. All they see is like, okay.
So what do you think about the character? Was it Shuri?
Lupita's character?
No, the scientist, the young girl.
But I love her.
She was like totally non-traditional. Like, remember that one part where she was just like, "Come on, get with it."
Right? Can you hurry up? Like, and so, but then the man came back and said, like, "That's why we don't want you guys, because you know you got this little girl running around and she doesn't respect tradition." I think that we as older women have got to open up our minds and think how they think. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they see things that they've grown up in a different time with more technology and access to more stuff. And so, you know, we have to open up our minds and be like, okay, this is how they're thinking about it. And then we need to stop judging and kind of adapt ourselves. Like, we get older and we get stuck in our ways. Like, I can honestly say, like, I just like stuff a certain way and I don't like for stuff to be out of order. But when I'm working with my daughter who's 21, sometimes I have to get like, okay, let me remember back to when I was 21 and then let me get her hit. But they have so much available to them now that they don't have to go through some of the struggles. So we went through some struggles for them so they didn't have to. And we tell them that, but we still want to see them struggle. Like, if you don't have to struggle, baby girl.
Then why? I tell Kendall all the time, she's like, I'm going to grow up and go to high school and I'm going to get a job. Well, not if I can help it. And I get that some people have this thing in mind where I want to teach them responsibility. I believe there's other ways you can teach them responsibility. And I feel like my job is to go to work and bring home things to take care of us, and your job is to go to school and get the education that you need so that you can go far like you want to go far. So I'm like, if
What happened to just opening the door of possibilities?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Let them be kids.
Yeah.
I was just gonna. When you said possibility, that was the thing that popped in my head. That I think is the difference between, generations. Like I grew up when we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have doing this kind of stuff. It was different, and I think me being me in today's world, sort of kind of like the possibility is like, wow, I could do that. Like, because back in the day, that possibility didn't exist.
It didn't seem like it was there.
Yeah.
Like nobody was showing you how to get to that possibility.
Yeah.
Like Anissa's my 5-year-old, and like in a week she could be a fairy princess, a doctor, a unicorn, and stuff like that. And I'm never like knocking her
And
down.
you better not tell her she can't.
Right, because she will get you all the way together. But you know what I'm saying? I want her to believe in the impossible dream. Yeah. Like I don't. Like, people are like, do you don't tell her no? I'm like, on certain stuff, I don't tell her no. Like, now, if it's something that's going to bring her harm, then no, and let's talk about it. But that's the other thing, too. We don't open the conversations with these young ladies to be like, okay, like, why did you do that? Or why do you think that way? And I think, like, we want respect, but it's a matter of also respecting them as well. We have to learn to give respect, but we've been taught that whatever your elder says or does, you respect it, and you just have to deal with it. And our kids are not growing up like that. They're like, okay, they are questioning.
You were taught not to challenge.
Yeah, it's a little different.
And so they are questioning everything. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm locked into like when we go to family functions, like you let her talk like that. And I'm like, well, she's asking a legitimate question. Like I probably should have asked it, but because it came out of a youth's mouth, now we're questioning she's being disrespectful. And I don't think all kids are disrespectful. I think they're curious, and we need to open up the possibility to discovery. And so her role, she was young, and she respected her mother. I think she respected her mother because her mother respected her.
And when you're raising leaders, you want to teach them to ask questions. Why wouldn't they ask the questions so they can have clarity? I think that's important.
Absolutely.
And so Zuri, I have to say, she was one of my favorite. And then when I did a little quiz on Facebook, I got her. So I was like, yes, I have an imagination.
Oh, I have to do that.
Yes, do it. I'm going to tag you in it. Okay, so let's see. Lupita's character, I labeled her the vigilante because she was like, you know what, I'm not about to be traditional.
She was a spy. She was out in the world, right?
Helping others.
Yeah. So her thing was, how can I be here, benefiting from this wonderful society when I know that there are people out there
and they're hurting.
And right. So
we all had that one friend too that's trying to fix. I know I have a friend. Her big thing is pets. Like she will save a cat, a dog, and I'm like, girl, why? But I was like, I can appreciate somebody wanting to be that type of hero. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't live comfortably because my people are not living comfortably. So what did you guys think about her? Because she was bad
to me. She's bad. Like every time I see her, I don't care what role she played, the slave, I thought she was bad. Like
I find myself always saying every time I see her, I'm like, Lupita.
Like
I always say, Lupita.
Yeah, I like her.
And so I just love her. And she's taken on so many roles. Like we've seen her, I think she's not the latest cover girl, but she is a cover girl. And so, taking on that role in this show, because, we live in a time where, light-skinned black people, dark-skinned black people, brown skin, all of us are all confused. And you just got to be like, hey, my melanin is popping.
That movie, though, spoke about, it helped with that. Come on now. It's like, that's stupid. Like, let's stop
why are we looking at each other? Like, why are we against each other based on, like, you got some sun and I didn't, or you got a little bit more melon and I didn't? Because when I get sun, honey, I am caramel.
You are caramel? Me too.
When I don't get no sun, I'm about the color of this popcorn. But I think, like, for our daughters to see her and to see her natural hair and to see her be versatile in so many situations. Like, she went to, where were they, in Korea? Or was it Tokyo? And she was
speaking Korean. Yeah, see, I like that part because I got to read the subtitles.
But we need to teach our children that, like, it's not just, like, what they offer you in class. Like, It's just not just Spanish. Or I think my sister and I, we went to high school. We didn't even take Spanish. I took French and my sister took German. Like, and you know, we don't have anybody to practice with. But I was like, I even told my kids, I was like, let's take Mandarin or Italian. Let's learn something different so that we can travel and, you know, be well read. I don't know. I was like, you know, we probably should learn Spanish because.
Well, Lupita, I was looking on something earlier today. She speaks Spanish, English, Swahili, and some other African language.
Let
Could
me
you
learn
imagine
Swahili.
that?
I'm out of here.
I
know,
took Swahili.
right.
I took Swahili. I don't remember it. I took it in college. It's a cold language.
And see, now that those things are offered, though, now when we was in high school, they was offering you Spanish. That was it. You had the choice to take Spanish.
Never heard of anyone offering Swahili.
Let me find out it's a Swahili class offer somewhere. I'm going to be in there. Y'all better get used to it.
I bet you can learn it online now.
The radio station
You can learn
is
everything
international.
online. Yes. You could probably learn it online. But no, I loved her character. The one outfit, wait a minute. When she had that green dress on at the
club,
yes, with the hair, I'm like,
what about that red dress? Oh, girl had on with the red dress, and she had that wig on.
All the
But let me tell you, when
fashion.
she snatched that wig
Man,
off,
she wasn't playing.
I so felt her because I would tell people, I was like, I don't have natural hair, but I don't wear weaves or anything else like that. So I was working out. People were like, oh, you should probably get braids. I'm like, I got to be able to. If I snatch it off, honey, I like being free. And so when she did, I was like, yes, girl, because you about to get into it. You need to be free. You need to be able to move around. Snatch that wig off and get it in. So, but Lupita's character, I was like, I just love her because, you know, she's come out and our daughters are recognizing her now. And the fact that she brought these other ladies with her is just amazing because now you can see yourself, a little bit of yourself in each one of them. And so I'm like, yes, girl. Like, I haven't taken the kids to see, and I wasn't going to take my 5-year-old, but I'm like, you know what? She might be like warrior princess.
Yeah, why not?
Get it ready.
My sister took my nephew, he's 3, and girl, he has his action figure. He's like, Dizzy, look, I'm Black Panther. Like, the kid, it's for the kids.
Yeah, the kids
they
love
have
it.
to
Well, the
see
first
that.
time I had to go, you know, I couldn't take the first time.
of
I'm
course,
like, I don't want you
yourself.
talking. I want to
Distracted.
enjoy
Right.
all of this.
Taking it
all of
in.
this. So I could be like, you know, when the
Right.
chocolate stepped on stage, I'm going to be showing my daughter all of that. I was going to be like, oh, yes, take my breath away.
Yeah, Lupita. I thought Angela Bassett was cool.
Let's
too.
talk
Let me
about
tell
her.
you about Mother.
Because, I mean, I'm ready for her to be, somebody need to recognize her. And I saw something on Facebook that said, well, y'all give Angela her flowers before she's not here anymore.
She is an
She
amazing.
is a bad woman. Like,
really
she
is.
And
come on.
Okay, let's just go there.
Auntie
That
Angela.
body, that body,
Yeah.
since what's love got to do with it, she has not let it go.
it go.
Yeah.
Those I'm like,
Yeah.
girl, I'm messing with Angela. She don't play. And then when they showed her hair and she had those gray dreads, I was like,
Yeah.
Mother is taking us
Yes.
back, honey. So I was like, it was good to see her. And she's not. That just go like, I'm just gonna say, black girl magic is something else because your melon, honey, it stays.
It
Like
stays.
Angela is what I think she's 6.
She's in her
I wanna say
60s. She's in her 60s.
And look at her.
She's beautiful.
She giving
She's
you
beautiful.
young girls better go and read whatever she got going on because she giving a lot of us some run for our money. She looks good, and you know, I was like, wow, just to see her with the gray. I could never picture her old because she looks so young, and so I'm like, okay, Mother, come on through.
She's amazing.
And even though her role was not like boom, you know what I'm saying, she still led the
She
child.
loved
She
her
did.
son. Like,
And that's how all
I know.
She
mothers
stood
are.
out, not just because she's Angela, but she stood out. Her role was powerful. But that's the mother. You need
the mother.
listen. You need the mother. Where the mothers at?
so we had the mother, we had the sister, we had the lover, because Lupita was, you know, the lover.
And the friend, honey.
And the friend.
These hot people, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, though, we are still breaking down the characters, and we still have to go in on Miss Angela because I don't think we wrapped her up to them yet. We'll be right back momentarily. Stay tuned. Hey, hotties, welcome back. And that was Blaze, Black Girl Magic. I like that. Go ahead on, Blaze. So, you guys, I am here. We are doing the wind down. It is about the sisterhood and building each other up. And so, we're talking about the sisterhood of Black Panther. If you did not see the movie, we are giving away spoilers. Sorry, but we got to do it because I just think like to experience that magic in that movie, and to see it in such a vivid and live space, it was like, yes. So we ended up talking about Angela Bassett, and I am a huge Angela Bassett fan. I
That's
just
Auntie Angie.
love her. I don't know, has she made it to Auntie status yet?
She Auntie Angie. Yeah, she Auntie.
Hey, Auntie. That's what he said. Like, hey,
Right, hey, Auntie.
And so I just feel like she slept on, though. I feel like she should get more roles. We should see.
Yeah.
I feel like we get picked with a certain. Trust me, I'm not saying that all these other actresses aren't magical, because anytime you see us grace the stage, honey, it's gonna be magic.
Yeah.
But I feel like they just pick certain actresses and they stick with them, and so we don't get to see enough of us. We only get to see, like, Kerry Washington was acting for a long time. Like I can remember a movie she played in where she was like a thief.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, and then she didn't really get recognized for a while. You know what I'm saying? So and then she became mainstream, and now people just know Olivia Pope, but they don't know everything else. And so that's like Taraji. You know, people will only know Cookie, but they won't know her all.
Which
all
is
her
sad.
other roles.
It is
That's sad.
And so I'm just like, you know. Did you guys see Proud Mary? Probably not.
I know.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm telling you, she's powerful in that too.
Is she?
But I like to see that we can show our power, and it's not something that we have to hide. It can be the forefront of the nation. So we talked about who did we miss in the movie? Did we miss anybody? I want to talk about the Warriors, because let me tell you, get information. If y'all don't know what formation is, tune in, because they were ready, and they were ready backing her.
Yes,
Yeah, they were.
You know what I'm saying? They were like, you know, and it's good. She was leading them, and they were backing her, and she was like, fall in line. They was and their fighting style was like dance. So it was like they was, you know what? We turn everything into dance. Like they supposed to be fighting, honey, but they was dancing over each other and flipping over each other, but they was getting that work in. I'm telling you right now. So I was like, it was just good to see all of us being able to come together, and they had them men. They were
in
knocking
line,
them out and getting everybody out the way. They were really action. And I think the last time I saw that was in Wonder Woman. And so, if you didn't see Wonder Woman, they talked about the Amazons and how they fought together, and all the Amazons were women. And so, but none of them looked like us. And so, it was like none of them. None of them. Right. I don't know. You know, Wonder Woman, and so, it was good to see that, like, we can be an army and we can look good doing it. I'm telling y'all, it's beauty. Like, whatever we do, it turns magical, and you just bring a certain beauty out. I don't know what it is. It's just like magic, and it happens, and poof, we look good. Even on the worst days, sometimes you're like, she still look good.
We can do something with nothing. And I mean, I think that's why we're so hated by a lot of cultures like that, because we can turn nothing into something, and we make everything look good. And just the way that we move and the way that we operate. I mean, it's just something about a black woman. You know what I mean?
It is. 'Cause my sister tell me all the time. She's like, "Why do you walk like that?" I'm like, "Girl, I don't know. It's just in my hips. It's ingrained in my hips. Like, if I don't walk like this, right? You know what I'm saying?" I'm like, I don't know what it is. And I had to watch one day. I was watching my youngest daughter walk away, and I was like, "Oh my God, she walks." Yes. She walks just like me. But it's just something like, I don't know if it's the joy you have in your heart from knowing who you are and being comfortable with that. But I'm gonna keep walking that.
That's exactly what it is. You have to know. I talk about identity all the time. You have to know who you are and whose you are. And when you do, baby, can't nobody tell you nothing.
So they definitely knew. I mean, Wakanda. Like, they were very proud of their nation. That loyalty, even though she didn't want to go with Killmonger, she was like, I am.
Oh, we're about to talk about that.
It was about Wakanda.
Right. Yeah. I have that in my being.
Like, in your heart. Like, you're true to. And I think the one thing
loyal.
is you can be true to yourself.
We are so loyal. We are so loyal.
To a fault sometimes, but you know, we are loyal people.
But I'm saying a loyalty to a kingdom like that.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what
to
that,
our people.
I don't know what that feels like to say, like, I am an American. I mean, you know, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No, but you're right though. Like, it was like, we are Wakanda. Like, you gonna catch me walking around talking about some peace. Like, you know, we don't even got no handshake going on, y'all. Like, what is our problem?
No.
So it's kind of
Not
like
the colonizers.
Or the colonizers. Oh, that was the
Colonizer.
funniest. That was so funny.
No.
I think that part right there. Like,
That was really funny.
cracking up, 'cause I
How
was
could you
like-
make a colonizer funny? Like, how could
did
you?
it.
She made it funny. Like, that was funny, girl.
So, but Zoe and I, before you came in, we're talking about how when there's dissension, like when you may not be vibing with your girl, and at that point in the movie, she's like, "Come with me." The king is dead.
Yeah.
We need get the warriors and stuff. We got to go. And she was like, girl. She was like, I get it. I get what you about to do, but I'm about to stick with this. And I was like, I love that part because it wasn't them fighting about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could disagree with your girl
She understood.
and not be like, I ain't messing with her no more.
But she knew what she stood for, and she knew what she stood for. So they both had to go separate and do their own thing.
Right.
But even when they came back together, she fought for her. She had her
Right.
back, and she had her back.
And see, I think that's what we are missing sometimes. That's what I was telling Zoe. I was like, even if you don't necessarily agree with your sister girl,
Yeah.
still have her back. Because
Yeah.
sometimes people have to go their own ways.
Right.
And then, you know what? You can get back together. You can come back together. But we won't always agree in life.
Yeah.
And we have to be okay with the disagreement.
That's the spirit of sisterhood right there.
So what are we missing then sometimes? 'Cause I feel like sometimes we don't get that point in the sisterhood. When your girlfriend don't agree with what you doing or something like that, I ain't messing with her. You delete her from all your social media, block her. Like, we ain't cool no more. Like, why is it that we can write people off so easily, but then accept in this movie that they went two separate ways and then came back together?
Well, for one, life isn't black and white.
Right.
Life can be complicated. And when people hurt you, when, things happen sometimes, it just, I don't know.
But again, with age, because I was like that with anybody. You listen, you done did something that offended me.
I'm done.
Right. But now, when you talked about with age and you just see things so differently, I always tell myself, Sharone, get out your feelings, because it is not that serious. But when you just love from a place of pure love, it's different.
Yeah.
I love you no matter what. You know what I mean? I'm going to
matter
support
what.
you no matter what. And if we can love like that, like I say, that agape love, then nothing else really matters.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I think we love expecting other people to love how we love,
and we don't.
And so I think, like, if you cut out your expectations and you
Yeah.
just genuinely be yourself, be your most authentic self, and people see that, then they come to love that about you, and then they learn to love you. But we automatically think that because I came to your event this week and you didn't come to my event last week, I'm not coming to none of your stuff no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't support me. And I was like, even for myself, though, I have to get out of my own feelings. Now, I think Sharone and I were having this conversation before, like, they don't appreciate what I do. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that was my expectation. Like, that's something I would do. I would go to the event regardless. But maybe that's not their thing. And so I think we need to voice our expectations, but also be willing to accept that our expectations are not other people's expectations.
Yeah.
Because I so expected her to be like, girl, let's go. And when she didn't come, I was like, damn. Really? I get it. Wakanda and everything. But girl, they didn't kill the king.
Right.
We got to get the queen and the princess out of here. And so it was just like good to see that they could leave each other and
But then
still
come
come back to a
Yeah.
place of acceptance of one another. So here it is. We get in that part. Like, they go their separate ways. Let me tell you, I was like, this is when I really love Lupita, because she's like, we got to go and we got to humble ourselves and we got to go and we got to get some help. I think it's important in the sisterhood to know when you need to step outside of your sisterhood and bring somebody in for help.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah, that is.
they didn't know they were women in that situation, and she's like, we need these men to help us. We need y'all. You know what I'm saying? And she knew how to go to them. And I'm telling you, women, if we learn that thing, that if you learn how to use your womanly wiles, you can get your way. Trust and believe. But it's too often we want to just be like, woman, hear me roar. I don't need you. And I'm like, girl, no.
Yes, you do.
I don't want to lift these boxes.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I work out.
Listen, that is a lie from the pit of hell. We need the men. We need
each
our
other.
brothers. We need, and just like they need us, we need each other.
Absolutely.
And so I was just like, once I think we as a people can come together once we realize that we do need each other. Like, stop putting these labels on, like, well, you don't cook, you don't clean. We need to work together as a team. Yeah. I think our homes have lost that team mentality. We're trying to get back there and show our kids that, but we, like, mama's expected to do this, and then daddy's expected to do this. When if we just work together as a team, like, it's not how it was.
Everybody has a role to play, though.
Exactly. And sometimes your role is the one to go out and work. Like, what if you are the woman and you have to be the breadwinner? What if you have more education? What if you are just talented in an area where he is not talented and he has to stay home? You mean to tell me that you're going to downplay this man because that's the role he has to play? Because
what he's staying home doing, though?
Oh, taking care of the kids, honey. Taking care. Now, if you're gonna stay home.
Well, let's keep it real now. What's this brother at home doing?
Taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, taking care.
Let me stop.
She gonna make me laugh. That's what a sisterhood is about. It's about being able to laugh at situations and resolve issues for each other. Like, what is he doing at home? Like, I'm gonna need you to be all the way together, like, keep my house in order.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to do it when I get home, but we have to make it so that we don't see that as a weakness too. I think a lot of times we say a man, if he cooking or cleaning us up, we often see that as a weakness, and we need to, like, that's not a weakness, boo. You're very strong. That mop is heavy. It is. Have y'all listened?
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, we have to make it so there's not a stigma stuck to a man that stays at home and that is taking care of the household. I'm talking about taking care. I'm not talking about sit up on my couch, eat my food, and you just not doing nothing at all. I'm talking about doing something, like contributing. That's your contribution. Gotcha. But we often, like, play it as like, oh, that sucker at home. Like, she out there doing all this. We don't share in the fact that that's his contribution to the household. And so I just like,
well, eventually the kids grow up and they go to school, but what he's still at home doing. So I mean, working on his past and, you know, his dreams, you know, what is he at home doing per se? And I think that's where I yeah, you know, I'm gonna support him absolutely 100%. But yeah, you and I always say I need me you might get me, but I need me a man's man. Like, I need me a man that I can call.
Mbaku.
Listen, he gonna have to, baby, I'm stuck on I-90 and my tire is flat. I'm gonna need somebody that's gonna
see, but I'm telling you that the stay-at-home man can do that too.
Okay, that's fine. Listen, we got some plumbing issues. I need help. Get in the garage and do something. Like, your hands gotta work.
Take care of the baby with these ladies.
Your hands gotta work.
So how does that apply to back plants?
Right. This is what happened when the sisterhood.
Listen, this man was strong. Them men were working. They were doing something. Listen.
You know what blew my mind? The rhinoceroses.
Girl,
I was not expecting that.
I was expecting it because I was like,
when Get Out was hitting.
And we have to talk about Get Out.
We gotta talk about Get Out.
I mean, really? Did you see
I
it?
was so mad at him. Like, come on, Get Out.
I knew the rhinoceroses had.
We call him Get
because
Out.
we was mad at him. We was mad at him.
Like, boy, get out.
We're still mad about
Get out of Wakanda.
You don't deserve this.
He was a sellout, but he was a sellout in the movie. Like, you just gonna go over there and side with this kid because you didn't get your way.
Right.
Was he a character in the Marvel?
Just like them colonizers.
My son.
Okay.
And just so y'all know, we all agree that we don't know DC. What is DC?
Marvel.
Yeah. Marvel. Don't be mad at us. Don't be writing in. Tell us like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna go and find out about it. But right now, all we have is the movies.
Right.
But I was like, so when the rhinoceros came up and he had them, I'm like, he really is fighting against. Like, but that's how we fight against each other sometimes.
We do.
That part broke
but
my
the
heart.
jealousy part, and I believe in him going against this man because he wasn't doing what he felt that he thought he should be doing. And remember, he mentioned his dad, and he said
he was hurt.
Yeah,
he was hurt.
He came from a place of pain. And
again, get out your feelings, baby. Get out your feelings.
But I think oftentimes when we hurt, like, we don't realize how hurt we are. Like, he was thinking, like,
but
now
you're
king.
hurt to go get the rhinoceroses.
He came about it. He jumped on that man.
I'm telling you, as soon as the camera panned that way, I was like, oh, it's about to go down. Like, we ain't seen no horses. We ain't seen no elephants. I said,
that's a rhinoceros. they was huge.
It was
Right,
only
they
three
were
of them.
big. They were big. But wait, again, the power of a woman. What that rhinoceros
Liquor,
do
girl.
when she came over there, baby?
Let me tell you.
What did he do?
He licked her right on her face, honey, because he knew. He like, you might want to go up against her. I'm not going up against her.
She probably took care of him. She probably fed him. She
We're
probably gave him a
nurturers.
bath.
That's what we do.
And that's the nature
That's
of
what we
women.
do.
But I'm telling you, I'm going back to it again. Ladies, if you use your womanly ways, honey, you can stop. You can stop a lot of
anything.
tension.
You can stop a rhinoceros.
Girl, you like...
We got power. We
So
got
yeah,
power.
so like that part of the movie, though, when the rhinoceros was coming towards her, and I was like, oh my god, I know he not about. I'm thinking he gonna stop the rhinoceros. Like, he ain't gonna run her over. And then the rhinoceros stopped itself. I was like, oh, that's a bad chick right there.
That must have like triggered something in Get Out's head. Like, oh yeah, I remember who she is.
But he would never have. They did not hurt women in Wakanda, and it was not until the. Michael B.
Killmonger.
See, he was not raised in Wakanda, and so remember, what did he do? He cussed her out and smacked the woman.
Yeah, he did.
He wasn't raised over there, so he didn't know that. He wasn't raised like that. But they would not hurt women. He didn't know.
Right.
Remember, she was dead
sure
or
did,
something,
yeah.
or we never knew what happened to his mother. We didn't know
who his mama was.
Well, okay, so let's go to that then.
Colonizer.
His mama was a colonizer. Let's go to that then, though. Like when our history is somewhere else, and so he was raised where there wasn't a respect for his history. He just knew that he was going to go back because he had a claim to the throne.
But he knew his history. But he knew it.
He knew his history, but I feel like he didn't have a respect for his history. Do you guys feel like that's how we are? Like because we don't know all of our history. We only know what's taught to us in the books. We know that there were 400 years of slavery. That it's hard for us to respect the rest of our history, to see Africa in another way. Until we saw it like this. Did you see Africa any other way? If you wouldn't have saw the pictures from your friend, if you wouldn't have saw it, would you only have pictured Africa as the way they show it on National Geographic?
Absolutely. If I would not have saw the pictures and heard the stories, and then because that's again what were you introduced to, and so that's all I knew.
I think it's up to us, though, to tell those stories, to get that information and relay that story so that our children, the future coming up behind us, can know, respect where you came from. Because oftentimes they don't respect where they come from because they don't know. And so he didn't know where he came from. He just knew that he wanted the power. And then he wanted to start a war. I'm telling y'all, though, a woman could stop a war. Y'all saw it happen. And she was like, that rhinoceros licked her face and that man got on off of there. And he was like, you're going to fight me? And she was like, And she would have took him, too. I'm telling y'all right now. If he would have started with her, she would have got him.
I believe it. He knew better. But were you raised in your house? Did you guys in your house have conversations about Africa? Because in my house I did not.
We did not.
And I'm ashamed to say I remember, listen, I'm gonna go back to Nas talked a lot about Africa in Bentley. Remember in Bentley he talked a lot about Africa, and it made me think like, whoa, I remember being in high school and like, wow, okay. So again, you saw something else coming from school or other people, but we didn't talk about Africa in my house.
See, I think that people only think our history is slavery, and it's not. And that's all we were introduced to, is that our history is this, and that's all that we're known for. But I think, like I said, it's up to us to introduce our children to our real history, to find out where we're from. And I'm not talking about Ancestry DNA, because I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical.
The Ancestry.com.
Listen, African Ancestry.com, where they show you, I guess, the exact tribes or whatever. But even still, I don't know.
I'm not even.
Well, I'll tell you how it goes. I actually sent off my results
Ooh,
recently.
yes.
My sister purchased one for all of us, and she's in Virginia, and she's like, I'm gonna send it to you. Just do it, and I did it. I did the little, the spit
You
and the little
do a
thing.
swab or whatever.
We did the spit and the little, which was gross,
like
by
in
the
a
way.
little tube. Ew,
Yeah, which was
take that
was
out.
so nasty, right? And we did that, and we sent them in. So they said it takes about 6 weeks to get the results back. So I'm waiting to see.
So when she get them back, y'all, we're gonna do a
that's a
Facebook
follow-up.
Live,
Listen,
right?
if it don't say Africa up in there, I know it's a lie. I know it's a lie.
Because we know where we come from. Like it all originated in Africa. So, ladies, if you could just tell us your favorite parts of the movie that pertain to sisterhood? What would you give us after over everything we talked about? I'm going to say, like I said, my favorite part was when they were there and she was trying to convince her to come with her and fight with them. And the fact, like, they looked at each other, but it wasn't with a look of anger. Like, you're not coming, it was with a look of, like, I respect you.
Yeah.
That's your man. You go and you do what you got to do to protect his people, and I'm gonna do what I have to do to protect my people. And so I want to say, like, that was, I like in that moment was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, so that stuck with me. What stuck with you, Zoe?
I love Shuri.
Zuri. I think that's Zuri. Yeah.
Any of the parts that she was in, particularly how she took care of her brother.
Yeah,
even though she was younger,
yeah.
you know, she made sure that he was good. Like, I got you this soup. You know, I mean, she did all these amazing things for him, you know. And I like that.
And it wasn't a sibling rivalry between them. Like, he was going to be king.
Right. He was
and that was it. And except for when she was
almost it was about to be. Now she was like,
just kidding.
Anybody want a challenge?
What was your part, Sharon?
I think for me, what spoke to me, and again, going back to what you said about her supporting her friend, even though she didn't agree with her. And when they were, when the guy, the FBI guy was shot, and she like, he took a bullet for me. He's gone. We can heal him.
I forgot about that.
We can heal him. Yeah. And she was like, no. And she was like, no, he took a bullet for me. So even though she didn't agree, taking a white man was back with him.
The colonizer
taking him back with her. She was like, okay, you know. And she did it, and she took him back, and they did heal him. So that spoke volumes to me, because she was by her sister's side.
Right.
I have to say, now that you mentioned that, she was one of my favorent characters, because she had him together too. Like, she researched him and was like, "You are a fighter pilot. You about to help us like, fall in formation."
Yeah.
And so I think, like, if you guys haven't seen the movie, I want to encourage you to go out. It's for everybody. It's for black people, white people, yellow, red, whatever you are, because you can get a lesson from it. My biggest lesson, like I said, was sisterhood and how we can come together and support each other. So I'm gonna let my sisters here tell me how we as a community can support them. So you guys tell us how we can support you and drop your information.
Well, let me just say my biggest part too. My biggest part, I believe they all had courage. They were all very brave, and a lot of times we stumble and we stop. You know, we get an ideal and we don't move forward with it, or we doubt ourselves, and it may be fear. But they acted off of what was inside. They were so courageous and brave, and I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So how can we help you, Miss Empower?
You can find me on Instagram. I am Sharone, Sharone Dakia, Dkia. That is me, no longer powerless. You can find me both on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Ooh. I'm on Instagram too. Zoe Brown, Gone Girl Go. It's all about helping women make their ideas blossom. And Black Girl in CLE.
And see, you guys, you know me. Like, I'm telling you know, my mission is to tell the stories so that we can see what different people, especially women, are doing in our communities to pull forward your story, to push you forward into your success. I believe that it is our responsibility to bring that next generation up and to tell them how they can move forward, how we can push. It's our responsibility to feed into each other and to show them a different way. As you guys know, you can always catch me over on the blog, me and the hottest kids at JustOneHotMom.com, and on all my social media at JustOneHotMom. And you can catch me here Fridays on ElevationRadio.com at 7 p.m. and check out the other shows on the radio station. There is so much power when we come together as a community and we support each other. So I want to ask you guys this week to go out and support everybody over at elevationsradio.com. I am just amazed at this conversation. I know I'm about to go see the movie again.
I'm going to see it again too now, and I wasn't going to do that, but I'm going again.
You've been tuned into the Wine Down. We've had amazing girl time. We've had our wine and our popcorn. I'm thankful that everyone tuned in. You've been tuned in, and guess what? You've been elevated. Talk to you soon.
Cool.